Dudes, my what's up? Got us some Bud Red action here, boys. Doing a little riding the track backwards, right? This is a series that I started about 35 decades ago on MX Simulator, and hey, I thought about you could go in here on some of these replica tracks like this on All Out in free ride and ride on them completely backwards. So this would be kind of like if they were to do a reverse layout of that track, which they do sometimes, especially with Southwick, right? You guys know in the recent years they've kind of totally changed the direction of that track. Gives it a totally different feeling to it when they do that. So obviously, Larocco's Leap's going to be a little bit weird going backwards on it like that, but whoo, that gets some skill gap to it, going through them rollers that way versus the other way. It seems like you get a lot more speed going that way. Obviously, Redbud, it'd be hard to imagine them ever going totally backwards like that on Redbud because it's just such a pillar, memorable national, right? But interesting, certainly on some tracks, because some tracks work better than others, right? Seems like some tracks they get a better feel. Like there's some tracks out there, believe it or not, they feel better backwards than going the fucking front way. like for real, dogs. I remember that. Oh my god, gotta be careful in jump landings that are literally like straight down peaks. Oh man. I remember, if I'm not mistaken, the 2019 MX Simulator, make sure I'm getting the right track, High Point, right? 2019 MX Simulator RF High Point track literally felt better backwards to me than it did the front way. I'm not exaggerating that at all. Like, it was way better of a track backwards, and it was just, everything worked better. The corners flowed better, jumps felt better, more fun, more skill gap, everything about it felt better. But sometimes it doesn't always work that way, but sometimes it does. So either way, whoa. Got that badass, like, or they got that, you kind of saw it right there on the dirt where they kind of had the little disked up marks on the track at the very beginning. So cool how they added that little touch to this right here. But just want to continue this series, man, and I do have a playlist for my riding the track backwards stuff, and that includes all games. That includes riding tracks backwards on Simulator, riding tracks backwards on Reflex, all that shit. I think it's a series you could do in any racing game, riding the track backwards, It's just a cool way to experience a track that you know, but in a completely different way, right? And I just always thought it was a cool series in that sense because it's just like you can do something that gives it a whole different vibe, a whole different look, but it's a track that you're basically just getting a whole nother track when you think about it, right? Like riding a track backwards is just, you're basically getting a whole nother track. I mean, theoretically, you could come in here and let's say you're racing with your buddies, just get on free ride, everybody line up, and then just go backwards on the track. And you got a whole nother track like that, right? On every track in the game. Am I exploding some people's minds right now? I mean, literally, you got a whole nother track on double the track content just by going backwards on the tracks. And I'm sure 90% of you guys have never even went backwards on any of these tracks in All Out. But you can do that in free ride. Not technically a raceable version of it, but you can do it in free ride, right? So it's like, I mean, literally, boys, you know what I'm saying? Like, 2 tracks for every track when you really sit down and think about it. So what the fuck? I just did a double can on the ground, bitches. Get on my level, like, please, bro. Too easy, baby. Too easy. Oh my god. Gotta love the goon mode. Now I'm squirting out of my pants. What is that when you jump in the air? He's like, what is it? Is he trying to do like a Ronnie Mac where he's like leaning forward? Yeah, that's what he's doing. I was like, what the hell is he doing? Thought I was sharting in my panties on that one, boys. God dang. So, either way, MX vs. ATV in the next game that you make, you had better have some actual legitimate Galaxy gear in that game. Or better yet, little quick idea for you. You could have some badass cool, like if you could get partnered up with Canvas MX, the real life gear making thing where you can basically make your own gear in real life. They'll make you whatever kind of gear you want to make. You could have like a Canvas MX sort of gear creation thing for your next MX versus ATV game, listen, hire me, MX versus ATV. I got so many fucking ideas, dog. I'm not saying you got to take all my ideas. I'm just saying I know what people want. I know what motocross gamers love, because this is what I do all day, every day. I mean, literally, this is what I do, bro. Like, this is what I do. So I'm just saying, that's the natural progression of it. You'd eventually get to the point where you can basically have like a custom gear creator type thing where you can put your own logos where you want to, your own designs, your own sort of, basically like a Black Ops gun paint job editor, but for gear in these motocross games. Same way with the actual bike skins. You should be able to do that with your bike skins. Make your own little goofy whatever emblem or whatever you want to do, and then put it on there. And people could actually have their own real life, sponsorship logos and stuff on their stuff in your game, and all that kind of stuff. Just telling you, that's the next stage. That's the next level of gear in these motocross games, is having an actual gear editor, gear maker. And you could, like I said, partner up with Canvas MX to make it kind of like make it fit into the whole, actually having a real life gear maker, like sponsored thing for the game, kind of like you do with all your other gear, but you can make your own gear in it. So you're basically like have like a make your own canvas gear, but in the game. That'd be pretty badass. I'm just saying. And that's just one of a million ideas I have for an arcade motocross game, MX vs. ATV. I'm telling you, one of a million different ideas. And these are the ones I'm giving to you for free. Imagine the ones I got, stockpiled back in the deepest parts of my brain that I'm not going to tell anybody about, because it's too amazing. It's too badass. I can't let that cat loose, you know what I'm saying? Some of the track ideas I have, I just cannot let it loose until I make it. Like, I've got a lot of stuff like that, dude. A lot of really cool game mode type track design stuff, even for MX Simulator, that I got cooking in the back of my mind, that would be so badass and nobody's ever done in any motocross game, and it would be so cool in an arcade motocross game. Full-blown game mode, different game modes that would be amazing in these games, and you have to obviously design the tracks around the certain game modes that I'm speaking about here. But I'm just saying, I got so many ideas, it's not even funny, over the years of making all the tracks on MX Sim, stuff like that. But either way, back to the point of the video, riding the track backwards. You can get around the whole thing pretty easy. You're not going to have too many difficult little areas as I fly off the track. Right here actually creates a pretty cool little like hip jump. You just kind of bounce off of that section. Then this creates like an uphill. It's not the best track I've ever rode on backwards. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and lie. Like, it's definitely, none of the jumps really seem to like link up better than they did the direction you're supposed to go on the track. Kind of cool hitting these corners backwards like this, but I mean, you're really just basically like over jumping to flat when you jump any of these jumps. You know what I mean? To try to avoid hitting that super sharp downhill, what's supposed to be a jump face, but you're actually landing on it. You know what I'm saying? And then as far as the Rocco's Leap, I mean, you're just kind of doubling, and then you're hitting this down, which makes it a little bit awkward. But other than that, everything else is decent, though. Like this right here, you're just kind of having to bounce off of it like that. Really like the way this feels, though, coming down through here. This feels like the downhill on the Spring Creek track of this game, kind of the skill gap of that, if you know what I'm talking about. So either way, boys, that is a little bit of riding the track backwards action on Bud Red, baby. So either way, appreciate you guys watching all the videos. Later, dudes.